Football season is over, and as we turn our attention to the ice and hardwood, what better two handicappers to bet along with than Dave Cokin in the NHL and Brian Leonard in college basketball? Up 128% in profit, that is a combined bankroll increase from Brian Leonard at 70% in college basketball and Dave Cokin 58% in the NHL this season. For a limited time, we have a special offer to lock in Brian's college hoops through the Final Four and National Championship and Dave's NHL through the Stanley Cup in June for only $479. This special price locks in two handicappers, two sports, through the championship in both sports for $209, less than buying each season individually, and $1,000 less than purchasing daily packages from now through June.
Yes, guy! Teddy Covers, Lawrence Presman. Both of us won our 5% play yesterday. Mine was easy. You're watching WagerTalk Today. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday. Dave Cokin right off the top. He's going to talk 3 college hoops games: Iowa, Michigan, Creighton, DePaul, Houston, UCF. We got Tony, Finn, Washington State, and UCLA in an NBA game, the 76ers and the Bucks. And, of course, Carmine Bianco coming on. He's talking Detroit Red Wings versus the Rangers and the Kraken versus the Winnipeg Jets. Speaking of the Winnipeg Jets, 3-0 on the daily presidential address. 6-0 this week for you guys on the daily presidential address. Teddy, what did you learn last night, baby?
Yeah. So when you and I are both coming off 5-star wins, nothing but smiles the next morning, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
We're sitting before the show, everybody's happy. But so I guess what I learned last night, we got to go through the sweats of these two games, because yours was the sweat of all sweats on Mississippi State +6. They led the whole second half. They're up by 7 with 7 to play, 64-57. Then an 18-2 run equals a 9-point Bama lead with a minute left. And you and I both, Prez, were not feeling real good about Mississippi State at that point. They missed bunny after bunny at the basket. We're screwed. It's 75-66. We're not covering this game. But the Bulldogs get a 3-point play and one. Bama misses a free throw. Mississippi State makes a bucket. 2 free throws for Bama. Back up to 7. That's too many. 2 Bulldogs free throws. Back to 5. Bama turnover, steal, but Mississippi State misses on the other end. Bama gets a rebound, but Mississippi State gets a steal and hits the layup down 3 and 2 Bama free throws.
That was insane.
13 seconds left. Mississippi State gets a 3-point block, scramble for the ball. 7 seconds tick off. Bama wins by 5. Mississippi State gets the money, and it was a sweat of all sweats. Mine wasn't as much of a sweat necessarily in the second half. The first half was UNLV fell behind by 13 early, but it was a 2-point game at halftime. The Rebels led by 3, 57-54. After Bryce Hamilton 3, 2:16 on the clock. I'm up 3, 2:16 left, and then it's empty possession after empty possession after empty possession. The next point was a UNLV free throw with 14 seconds left. They won the game straight up. Not to mention the big game breakdown with the Nets coming back against the Knicks from 28-point down. No sweat last night, but then, Prez, you sent out that video. Of course, on Twitter, Prez sent the video of him and Viv going insane, dancing after Mississippi State gets the money. And the only thing I had to say with that video is just act like you've been there before. It's like when you score a touchdown, act like you've been there before. That was like the first win you ever had in your life, dude. You're dancing. It's a win. Feels good. Congratulations.
So, Teddy, in regards to the video, I want to say a couple of things. Firstly, way to go on winning your 5% play. And yes, I completely lost my shit. I mean, Mississippi State were missing dunks. There was a dunk miss.
Bunny after bunny.
2 layups.
A bunch of bunnies at the rim that didn't go in.
Yeah. 2 layups on the same possession and on and on. But in regards to that video, I want to say a couple of things. We posted that video and I turned to Vivian and I said, Teddy's going to go on the show and be like, pretend you've done that before, Prez. Firstly, I don't pretend. I just do me. And last night's 5% play, and I've been handicapping since 1999, so 22 and a half years. Last night's 5% play was the most sales given the dollar value of play I've ever made in my life.
Congratulations.
In my life.
Awesome.
Like,
And
we
you won
made
for 'em.
more. I made more sales on Monday, but that was a $9 Monday play.
Mhm.
This was full price. I made the most amount of sales I've ever made in my life. And Teddy, I live on the extremes. As high as I am is as low as I get.
I know.
Not only that, but it is really important to me to show the listeners, the buyers, the clients who are spending their hard-earned money on my work. It is important for them to see how much I actually do care. And that's why I decided to put that video up, because I understand it. You're a professional, Prez. You're in your 50s. You go on vacation all the time. You live in a 4,000 square foot home. You're handsome as hell. Everybody loves you. You're a true god. I
I'm taking the
understand
under on
all of
all
that. I understand all of that. But man, I cannot deal with the pressure of having clients on my plays, those big 5%ers, and then they lose, and I'm a mess. That was a genuine reaction. I wanted everyone to see it because everyone needs to understand that that is what I literally go through the entire game when I do release these 5% plays. Dave Cokin joining us. Dave, firstly, before we get into anything, it's a betting show. I got you and Teddy with me, and I'm going to start right off the bat with a question. What are the odds of baseball actually starting in time or this season?
0.
I don't know what the odds are, but they're not good.
Yeah.
And
Baseball's not starting on time.
I'll give you an opinion that might. I think the owners are actually willing to sacrifice the entire season in an effort to bust the union.
I would do that if I was one of the owners. I mean, frankly put, the Soto. Yeah, look, the Soto contract just came out yesterday. I think it was $325 million for 10, 15, 100. Who cares how many years? It's $350 freaking million.
Which he shouldn't take.
I think it's gotten completely out of control. With that said, I don't have access to the books that the owners' books. Listen, I'm not the owners on this one.
You really? Wow. We couldn't be further apart because the owners are scumbags, okay? What they're doing at every level is wrong. It's wrong morally, but that starts right there. They are clearly the bad guys in this. I'm sorry, but I'm a working class guy. I might have been white collar my entire adult life, but I come from a working class background. My neighborhood was working class, and I come from a union city where union workers lived okay. My dad was a union worker, and middle class was okay. All right, the owners. There's no question in my mind. They are trying to break the union. They are the ones. There's no strike taking place here. Let's make that
It's a lockout.
clear. It is a lockout, and it's all one-sided, and they're refusing to negotiate fairly. So we're completely on opposite sides of this. As for Soto, why would he take this contract? He might be leaving $50 to $60 million on the table with inflation and the fact he's a free agent in 2 years. Now, there's always a chance he could go bad or get hurt or something like that. But if he plays at his expected level, he's going to get a lot more money than the Capitals. The Nationals offered him. So he's doing the smart thing. But I don't think we're going to have – I really don't think we're going to have a baseball season.
God, that would suck. I'm not going to get in. I'm not going to
go ahead. I want to make this one other point. Apparently, you don't care about your own income if you're on the owner's side. Because if there's no baseball season, you don't make any sales. And they're the ones that are shutting the game down. It's not the players. So
Prez has just changed sides. I am now officially on the players' side. Go Players! Go Go, go, players! Go, go, players! Teddy?
The short-sightedness from the owner's standpoint just blows me away. Okay, baseball's already on fragile ground. All right, it's not like the ratings are through the roof. It's not like you have new baseball fans the way you have new football fans and new basketball fans every year. Baseball is on the precipice of being horse racing. And all of these franchises that are worth $1 billion and $2 billion and whatever, they ain't going to be worth that if there's no season this year and baseball loses whatever fans they have left. This is an egregious power grab and money grab by a bunch of billionaires. And if you're on their side, Prez, it figures. You know, you tend to go with the billionaires as opposed to the regular.
I want to say one other thing, and this is to the fans out there who are saying, oh, it's a bunch of greedy millionaires versus greedy billionaires. Part of the problem is you, the fans. And the reason I say that is if you watch any game in America or Canada, if they actually let people start attending games in Canada again, any game in any sport, nowadays you will see basically the entire crowd wearing some form of team apparel, whether it's their team or the opposing team. Well, you're contributing to the so-called greed on the part of the players, the owners. You're paying way over market value for every piece of equipment, paraphernalia that's out there, because the markup on this stuff is insane. Okay? So if you want to bitch, stop buying all the shit that they put out there. Oh, I got to have my jersey to show my support for my team. I might sound like an old fart on this. I guess I am an old fart on this. I've never worn a team jersey in my life. Never. Okay? I'm not part of the team. If you go to a game, you're not on the fucking team, all right? You're not on the team. You're a fan. I can be a fan, but I'll be damned if I'm going to go out there and spend my money on crap with somebody else's name on it. If you want to do that, that's fine, by the way. I'm not knocking people who do that, but at the same time, when you do that, you give up your rights to complain about the greedy millionaires and greedy billionaires because you're doing exactly what they want you to do. Spending money you don't need to spend on equipment that doesn't, it's absolutely astonishing, the markup on this stuff.
What did I get myself into? Let's move on to some actionable info, some betting for tonight. Iowa playing Michigan, -5 now. A total of 149.5. Dave, how do we bet this game?
Look, Michigan they're just not putting it together. I think by this point in the season, you can look at a team and decide whether they're getting ready for the tournament or not. I don't know if Michigan's even going to be in the tournament. They've got some tough games coming up. They've played the occasional good game, but they have not been consistent. Iowa's the better squad, and it's actually a good matchup for Iowa because they never turn the ball over, and Ohio State never forces turnovers. So you would think that unless Ohio State has a big night on the glass and Iowa shoots poorly, it's tough for me to see how Iowa is going to did I say Ohio State? I meant Michigan. Iowa matches up well with Michigan. I'm not prepared to lay the points in the game because I'm playing almost exclusively dogs right now in college basketball, and I have a bunch of plays tonight, by the way, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I would lean Iowa here. I think it's a favorable matchup there at home, and Michigan from one game to the next is just not real predictable.
So Iowa's really kind of been feasting on the weak in the Big Ten of late. Nebraska, Maryland, Minnesota, Penn State twice, Rutgers, Minnesota again, Indiana. They haven't really been up against many of the elite teams in the conference in recent games, whereas Michigan's been up against it the whole way. Does that strength of schedule disparity between these two teams in conference play affect your handicap at all?
Not that as much as I don't trust Iowa. I mean, if you look at this matchup, the other thing here is the tempo. Michigan they want a snail's pace, which I'm not sure yet. I know it worked for them last year, but boy, they're an athletic team, and I think they ought to be running a little more. But that's just my opinion. But I just don't trust Iowa. They're not the toughest team in the world. I can tell you that, and they can be a little bit soft on the inside. So, despite the matchup advantages that they hold in this game, and particularly with at least a tendency, home teams usually are better at dictating tempo as opposed to road teams, and Iowa wants to play fast, and Michigan doesn't. So, I mean, Iowa, you would think, would have their way in this game, but again, I just don't trust them enough to lay points. But I'll lean that way.
Dave Cokin joining us, everyone. Exclusive to WagerTalk.com. You can find him there every day. DePaul hosting Creighton. 12-12 DePaul, 16-8 Creighton. -2 is the line for DePaul. How do we bet this game, Dave?
I'm going to have to admit that I thought Creighton might struggle early with the very young lineup that they have, but I figured by this time they'd be back to kind of being Creighton. Maybe not to quite the level of past couple editions, but really good. And it's just not happening. And it's not happening because they can't shoot. I mean, they're a bad offensive basketball team. I actually think DePaul is the better squad at this point. And I expect DePaul to win this game. Now, why am I not playing it? Because DePaul's not accustomed to this role. They're now favored against one of the, consistently quality programs in the Big East. And DePaul has not been in that role in a long time. So I don't know how they react to it. But they're the better team at this point. They've got guys who can put the ball in the basket. They're actually playing, in my opinion, better basketball than Creighton. And on paper, DePaul ought to win this game. Not with my money, but I do expect the Blue Jays to pick up a victory tonight.
Dave, I got a question in that regard, and I'm curious. I try to put myself as the host of the show. I try to put myself in the position of the listeners, guys who have not been betting professionally for 30 years. And my question is, what are you talking about? Like, does DePaul look at the line and be like, "Oh my God, we're -2! We're -2! What are we gonna do?"
Make no mistake, they know the line, especially now.
So if they were +2, they would know what to do. But because they're -2, they don't?
The pressure of high expectations. They're favored. This is an unusual role for DePaul. We've seen this over the years in many sports. Teams that aren't used to being favorites don't do well as favorites when they're suddenly cast in that role on a frequent basis because it's a different mindset. Lou Holtz was the best. One of the best. Lou Holtz was the best at actually using the point spread. This was back when it was basically just Las Vegas to motivate his team. Whenever they were favored, it could be by 1 point. He'd be selling, Vegas they love us in this game. They're not respecting the opponent at all. And the other, if they were dogs, it's like, they're not giving us a chance to win this game. Now, he wasn't a sports bettor, but he understood how he could use the line and kind of manipulate it to kind of do some stuff in the locker room. He was great at it. And other coaches have done the same thing. No, it is a different mindset when you're expected to do well, and sometimes teams fall on their face when they're not used to that being in that mindset. So this is kind of new for DePaul. They're improving, but the one thing they still don't know how to do really well is win basketball games. They've lost some games. They've lost some games this year that they clearly should have won, including the game at Providence, which was just a couple games back. They absolutely should have won that basketball game and couldn't figure out how to do it and eventually lost the game in, I think it was double overtime.
Dave Cokin, Dave, before we get into your third game, anything to promote?
Yeah. Brian Leonard's having a great season in college basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know what his exact numbers are, but they're really good. I am having another really good season in the NHL. I think I'm up now, the commercial with Ruby said 59 up.
You're up 66%. Yeah. 66% return for Dave Cokin in the NHL. But more 61-33 record, Dave. Absolutely spectacular. And especially like from my perspective as a guy who's really been struggling in the NHL, just outstanding stuff. Brian Leonard up 63% in college basketball. What's the promo?
The offer is I think it's $4.79. There's no coupon necessary. If you go to my homepage, you'll see the thing for it. You get both of us. You get all the rest of the college basketball season for Brian through championship game, and you get everything from me through the Stanley Cup Finals, which are sometime, I think, around November. Actually, no, they're in June. And the hockey's been great. I haven't lost a game since the All-Star break. So, and I have not put up any hockey yet for tonight, but I will have a play. At least one. I might have two. I'm waiting on goalie info and stuff like that before I make the decision. But there will be hockey action tonight. As for the college basketball tonight, I think it's my biggest card of the year. But
Wow.
And I said I was going to do this, so I'm going to stick to it. I wish I hadn't said this because now I'm giving away too much. But I've got one best bet. I've got 6 other plays. The other 6 plays, they're all free. They're on my homepage right now. One's a 3, and the other 5 or the other 4 are 2. No, it's 5 additional plays, not 6. I've got 6 in all. And if you want the best bet, I think it's a dog that wins outright. You can get that as well. So we got one more game.
Dave Cokin.
Central Florida and Houston.
Yeah, Houston, UCF. Dave, just go. We're up against it.
Yeah, Houston's off a loss. That's bad news for Central Florida. UCF's, they kind of fooled me. I thought this team early in the season was like, this might be a pretty good team. They've kind of gone back to being middle of the pack in their conference, and that's it. And they're facing Houston on the wrong, it's the wrong night to be going into Houston. I think the Cougars kill them in this game. This could be, it's a big number, but I'd only play the Houston side here. They could crush this squad.
Are you worried at all about, Houston looked bad the other day against Memphis. Memphis, it was as bad as I've seen Houston play all year. You worry about a hangover effect for the Cougs at all, where they win the game but don't blow them out?
I think it's the reverse. I think they're going to get pissed off about that. They didn't play well. And they still should. Looking at the shot quality numbers in that game, they still should have won the game. Memphis is playing a lot better, by the way. I know everybody was trashing Penny Hardaway early in the season, but Tigers are showing some life, and they could be an interesting team come conference tournament time. I wouldn't be shocked if they win that league's conference tournament. But Houston is still the team to beat in that conference, and they are a team that can win by margins. Because when they play defense for 40 minutes, you got troubles against them. I just don't think UCF's got much of a chance in this game.
What a great segment. Dave Cokin, everyone. Brother, thanks for joining us, guys. Check out his homepage. There is a special there for Brian Leonard's college basketball, Dave Cokin's NHL. It's a big special, no coupon required. Teddy, we got to take a quick break, man. We got your big game breakdown, Tony Finn, Carmine Bianco, and of course, if we get to 100 likes, the undefeated daily presidential address.
Deja vu? It may seem like it since we've made the same announcement 3 times in the last 3 months, with this being number 4, but we are lowering our prices again. First, our 30-day all-access went from $349 to $299. Next, the 7-day all-access pass went from $119 to just $99. And just a few weeks ago, despite our popular 3-day all-access pass, it went down to $59 from $69. Next up is the 90-day all-access pass, which is now officially dropped down to $749 from being $849, giving you 90 days of selections from your favorite handicapper for under $6 per week. Remember, purchase wager bucks can now be used the same as cash, including on our new lowered price, $3, $7, $30, and 90-day all-access packages, allowing you to save every day on every pick you buy.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's go to the association for Thursday night as teams get involved in the last games before the All-Star break and took a look at Miami and Charlotte. Right now, I'm seeing Miami -5. Lots of money for the over this morning, sitting at 226.5 as we speak. We have seen a little bit of money for the Heat now that Jimmy Butler has been upgraded to probable for Miami, although Tyler Hero not expected to play for the Heat this evening. I do not like laying points before the All-Star break. I talked about this yesterday on Big Game Breakdown. I talked about it on the NBA Tip-Off Show. We took a dog yesterday on Big Game Breakdown with the Nets, who rallied from 28 points behind to beat the Knicks, which is just one more reason why you don't want to be playing a whole lot of favorites in that last game before the All-Star break. But Miami's a different story. There are exceptions to every rule. And here we have Miami coming off of a loss. Got beat up by Dallas over the weekend. Miami's 14-6 against the spread off a loss this season. That stands sharp contrast to Charlotte, who's basically 500 at home, 4-5 straight up, 5-4 ATS, coming off a single defeat. And Charlotte's terrible right now, okay? Whatever their season-long power ratings are saying, don't be fooled. This team's won once in their last 9 games, including an 18-point home loss to this same Miami team just about 2 weeks ago. You know, James Borrego doesn't know what to do right now. Quote, this whole thing's really a mental game. We've just got to get our heads square. I don't anticipate that happening before the All-Star break from a team that is kind of in free fall right now. And let's not forget how young Charlotte is. You know, average age under 25. Borrego, you know, we have highs and lows. Don't point the finger. Keep battling. You know, this young group is getting better. We just have to stick with it. These are not, we're going to beat Miami type of quotes. They've lost their last 6 at home. Their offense is stagnating. They scored on more than 101 points just twice during that span. You bring in Montrezl Harrell in the trade from the Wizards to shore up the rebounding, and then you give up 9 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter against Minnesota in an overtime loss to the T-Wolves. Yeah, Miami's the play here. Give me the Heat minus the 5. I'm reluctant before the All-Star break, but I'm doing it here. Miami minus the points. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy Covers. Teddy, before we bring Tony in, I want to read a comment that someone posted on the video last night, and it was one of our most loyal listeners. He goes under the username Mr. Which, by the way, was a singer back in the 80s or something. Anyway, he writes, just wanted to thank WagerTalk. My wife got ovarian cancer 2 years ago. We used the money WagerTalk helped me win over that time for her treatments. She passed away this week, but she got to spend a little extra time with the 2 kids. Thanks to Teddy, Steve, and Prez, I worked through the pandemic as a trucker. I was able to spend a little extra money to bet NFL and NBA and won $4,500 this year. So thanks for being there during such a tough time. Good luck to everyone. Mr. I mean, I am so sorry for your news. It is so heartbreaking and gut-wrenching. And I wish you and your children nothing but the best, a lot of love, find some happiness moving forward. Please email customer service your username, please, Teddy.
Yeah, my condolences for your loss. And I'm glad that we were able to help in some small way in letting her be here a little bit longer than she would have been. Yeah.
Tony Finn joining us. Tony, my brother, how are you?
Hey, it's always a good day. You know my mantra. Hope you guys are well. Let's keep grinding along, pick some winners. I've been listening. Very interesting so far.
Yeah, so Teddy, just to let you know how Tony's good day works, because Tony and I have known each other for close to 15 years. A good day for Tony is a day that he wakes up. My bar is way higher, Teddy. Way higher. No. That is just not how I am judging life. We are all different. Tony is ecstatic if he wakes up, and you know what, Tony? When you're in that situation and your bar is that low, it only makes for a better life because your expectations are zero. Your desires are not as big as mine. I'm the one that is permanently chasing my tail. So I am jealous of how low your bar is. Anyway, brother, let's get right into it. UCLA is playing Washington State. You like the total here? Please tell us which way to bet it.
Well, I like the over here, and I think it's the only way you can play this game is as much as Washington State hangs their hat on being defense first, defense heavy, a team that held Arizona State to 35 points in 40 minutes of regulation play this year. UCLA at home, almost perfect to the over, 8-2, 8-3, something like that, to the over. When they're at home, the dichotomy between this team on the road and at home it's the difference between good day for me and you, Prez. And Washington State's going to shoot threes. That's all they're going to do. They're going to shoot threes. And UCLA's not playing real well, not defending the perimeter very well. I think they're 1-4 or 1-3 in their last 4 games. Haven't looked good. Over 131, a nice low number. Over 131 in Westwood at Pauley Pavilion.
Let's shift our focus to the association for Thursday night. Last games before the All-Star break, and at least one of the two teams you're going to talk about may or may not be on a mission tonight, because Philadelphia, of course, we're talking the Bucks and the Sixers right now, looking at the WagerTalk Live on screen. I'm seeing Milwaukee minus 6.5, total 223 against Philadelphia. And if you're going to go through and look at the worst games every team has played all year, Philly just played theirs. That was a no-show against Boston. I was debating, do I take some plus 27.5 in game, and I decided against it, and I was really glad I didn't. They ended up losing by 50. Do the Sixers bounce back here, or is this a team that's just going to go into the All-Star break? They're ready for a little vacation. What's your take? Philly, Milwaukee, Bucks as home chalk tonight.
Yeah, I've heard. I think I was this program. I was listening a little bit to. I think maybe been Dave that thinks that Houston's going to bounce back. So I never have felt that way about this Philly team. I haven't felt this way about that Philly team since really actually last year at some point in time before they were eliminated in the postseason. This is a one-man team at this point in time. Thibel's in the starting lineup now. He is a offensive detriment. He is a liability. The kid from Washington can defend. At this level, not quite as well as he did, obviously, at the college level. And Embiid's coming off. Listen, Embiid's an average game. First and foremost, they're not speaking to this, but Embiid is wearing a wrap around his hand. Has been for 2 games. Not on the injury report, but no one wears a wrap around their hand unless something's wrong. If there's anything wrong with Embiid and the fact that he's going to be in this All-Star game and they're not going to play him as full term, Milwaukee's playing so much better than Philadelphia at home, minus 6.5. I think as much as I don't like laying points before the All-Star break, what I like less tonight is the dogs that are on the card. Give me Philly give me the Bucks minus the 6.
Tony and everybody, Tony, outstanding. What do you got to promote, man? What's going on for you and your clients?
We're having a great NBA season. College has gotten better. Yesterday we had a nice sweep in college, and a pick 'em, basically a pick 'em with Texas Tech, and a nice dog win with UNLV. So NBA we kind of split that action, had some props, but check it out. NBA college basketball. That's all we got, maybe until football, right?
Yeah, well, let's hope baseball happens. I switched sides today. I'm cheering for the players. Go Players! Tony and everybody, outstanding work, Tony. Thanks for joining us. Teddy, do you remember the name of that Mr. song?
No. Thankfully, no.
Let's ask Carm. Carm, you remember Mr. You're old enough.
I remember it being a very bad song, whatever it was.
Yes. Carm, you remember it? No, Hold Me Now was from the Thompson Twins. Hold Me Now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and they're both Misters.
Yeah, well, actually, I really like the song "Hold Me Now." It's actually on my playlist.
Broken Wings. That's their god-awful song.
That's right. Take these broken wings.
Oh, that's god-awful.
And learn to fly again. Blue, 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 blue. Carm, what did you think of the video last night? I posted on Twitter.
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Teddy is right. Act like you've been there. It's not that. It's that you blew up my phone during the game. It's that you tagged me in the post, and I was trying to sleep at a 8 o'clock appointment at the doctor, getting needles in my back this morning, and then rushing home to do the Puck Time show this morning. And my phone is blowing up, and I'm not going to turn it off. But you do this. Teddy knows this. You do it during football season. You do it with any big play. You blow up our phones on the minute with anything that's changing, any save, any goalpost, any missed extra point. It's what you do.
So, Carm, I had a conversation with Prez. It had to be midway through the football season. I'm like, never again. Okay, just don't. Just have your own Sundays. I don't want any part of you. Read him the riot act and he'll stop. That's my advice. Just tell him never again and be really mean about it.
Yeah. I'll have to do that.
Carm, don't listen to him, dude. You should take my shit on a regular basis all the time. And as far as been there, done that, I've been there and done that. I've literally done that dance 1,000 times. Let's get into some hockey, brother. Detroit Red Wings versus the New York Rangers. Actually, you know what, Carm? I'm gonna let Teddy ask you about that game. I want to split the games around. I want to talk about the Winnipeg game because last night you and I were talking about Winnipeg, and they were minus 125 in regulation. Now they're minus 140 on the game. So a massive line move, lots of money coming in on Seattle. Are you with the Seattle side or the Winnipeg side?
I want to be on the Winnipeg side, but the markets are definitely moving against them. They opened at, if you look at the WagerTalk live lines, I believe they opened up at minus 180. I didn't see the 180s anywhere. I did see a bunch of 160s and 165s across my books, and they're down to about 145. It could be, the fact that you look at it, it doesn't look like it's going to be Hellenbuck in net tonight. It's going to be Eric Comrie. Yeah, he's only played like about 6 games this year. But he's been good at home. He's 2-1 at home, 1.97 goals against average. And Winnipeg, we talked about it. They're saying all the right things. Their players, it's playoff time now. They're 5 points out of a playoff spot. The teams in front of them are all heating up. You didn't believe me about the Calgary Flames. I hope you believe me now. I said they were a definite buy team. But with that said, Winnipeg, the only thing that scares me about Winnipeg heading into this game is they play to the level of the team they're playing. They played Minnesota the other night. They looked fantastic. 3 games prior in Nashville, they played a very good game. In between, they come home and they play the Chicago Blackhawks and throw in an absolute stinker, losing that game 3-1. You look at Seattle, I'm not sure where the money's coming from, if it's just because of the goaltending. Grubauer hasn't been great for them on the road. This is a team that is last on the road in the West with a record of 7-13-2 and a minus 15 goal differential. But they're alternating wins right now. They are that zigzag team right now. It just seems, if you look at it looks like a barber pole if you look at their results, just a win-loss type of thing. With that said, even with the money dropping, I'm sticking with the Winnipeg Jets here. I think they're in the midst of playoff hockey, and when teams get into that mode, they win. And we've seen the coaching changes in Vancouver work. In Edmonton, it's working. And it's working in Winnipeg. They're just not stringing a bunch of wins together. They need to get going on that. But they're good at home, plus 11 goal differential. So I am going to take the Winnipeg Jets here.
And, of course, it's worth noting when you talk about the opening line, for Seattle and Winnipeg. If you DraftKings opened minus 205 last night, all right?
Yeah.
Minus 170 at Westgate, minus 160 at South Point, minus 145 at Circa. So we're talking about a 60-cent difference between openers for that game, which tells us where the early money
It's
came.
massive.
Yes.
Yeah,
DraftKings. It goes when you're saying the line opened at. If you bet at Circa, line opened at minus 145. You lost a little bit of value. Obviously, if you're looking at the openers back east, it was a $2 favorite, and you've lost a ton of value. So just in terms of a thought process. Let's shift focus and talk about the Rangers and the Red Wings. Look, when I lived in Michigan, Detroit was hockey town. The Red Wings were competing for championships and Stanley Cups basically every year. An elite team. That was then. This is now Red Wings, one of the worst teams in the NHL. Obviously, the Rangers are not. How do we bet this one if we're going to get involved?
Yeah, we opened up this segment by you guys are pressing in take these broken wings. I'm not going to take the broken wings on this one. Listen, Detroit's got a future ahead of them. Yzerman's doing a great job putting this team together. A lot of young talent, but they weren't going to be a playoff team this year. They could be a playoff team next year, but a definite playoff team is the Rangers. I picked the Rangers to win at the beginning of the season, to win the Metropolitan. And possibly be the East's representative in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I'm not shying away from that. They're a very good team. They need to get completely healthy. But they've got a stud of a goalie in Igor Shesterkin. He just doesn't lose at home. This year at home, he's 13-2-1, 1.97 goals against average. He just plays extremely well, and so do the Rangers. When you've got a goalie like him who can steal you a win when you haven't played the best of games, and he did the other night against a Bruins team with Bergeron and Marchand out of the lineup, he's gonna steal you wins he's gonna get you wins in the playoffs. This is a 5-game homestand that ends tonight. It started with a blown lead against Minnesota. They had a 2-0 lead in that game, lose that game 3-2, but they had 3 wins since, and I think they finish off this this homestand with another win tonight. You've got Nedeljkovic, likely starter for Detroit. You know, he had a great season in Carolina last year, but not so great this year. I think he's like 14-14 with Carolina. But since the start of December, he's 2-7 on the road, and those 2 wins came against the Buffalo Sabres and Philadelphia Flyers. He has not beaten a quality team, and this is a quality team tonight. I don't want to lay the -190, -200, so I would take the Rangers in regulation time. You'd lay about -125, -130, and I think they get it done in 60 minutes.
Carmine Bianco, everyone. Great take, Carm. What do you got to promote? What's going on for you and your clients?
Yeah, a couple games up tonight in NHL. One play up this afternoon in Europa League soccer. It's a 5% play. You can get that over at WagerTalk. And instead of paying the $35, get a 1-day all access, $39, and you get the NHL as well too. So that's what we got going.
Awesome. Carmine Bianco, everyone. What a show. Well, we got over 100 likes. The undefeated daily presidential address is about to begin. Real quick, on behalf of Teddy, Covers, and myself, the co-hosts of WagerTalk Today, thank you guys, all of you, for playing our 5% plays last night. Teddy won his college basketball 5%er. I won my college basketball 5%er. It was an outstanding night. A lot of drama, that is for sure, or drama, however you want to pronounce that word. Just to recap, I went 2-0 on Monday on these videos. Minnesota in regulation, Minnesota -1.5. I went 1-0 on Tuesday. Can't remember the play. And I went 3-0 last night with Minnesota over, Calgary over, and the Denver Nuggets. I got 3 plays for you guys today. Before I get into that, I just want to let everyone know I got a big day of betting ahead of me. I have 3 NHL plays up for my clients tonight. I have a college basketball play. I've won 3 in a row. I'm on a 20-10 college basketball run. And I have an NBA play up tonight. I'm on a 6-2 NBA run, up 45% ROI in the last 24 months. No, the last 12 months. I don't want to get I don't want to sit in the penalty box for a week. So it's the last 12 months. Anyway, 3 plays tonight, guys. Edmonton Oilers. I've been telling you they're a bye team. I stick to it. Take them tonight against Anaheim. -1.5 goals. Take Edmonton and Anaheim over 6.5 for a 5-2 finish. And take the Ottawa Senators over the total of 6. Teddy, I'm eating a falafel today, and I'm going to do it in about 2 minutes. Take us home, brother.
Sure. That's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games, and good luck tonight.
Football season is over, and as we turn our attention to the ice and hardwood, what better two handicappers to bet along with than Dave Cokin in the NHL and Brian Leonard in college basketball? Up 128% in profit, that is a combined bankroll increase from Brian Leonard at 70% in college basketball and Dave Cokin 58% in the NHL this season. For a limited time, we have a special offer to lock in Brian's college hoops through the Final Four and National Championship and Dave's NHL through the Stanley Cup in June for only $479. This special price locks in two handicappers, two sports, through the championship in both sports for $209, less than buying each season individually, and $1,000 less than purchasing daily packages from now through June.